So today's video should be an interesting one. I recently went on holiday for just over a week, and when I came back everyone was talking about Habanero tactics. And because I was living in blissful ignorance of Skyblock for just over a week, the only thing I could think is, well, wasn't Habanero tactics completely and utterly useless? Turns out it's absolutely phenomenal now. Habanero Tactics 5 gives us plus 7.5% more healing from wands, which is so-so. It gives us an extra 25% damage with Slayer weapons, which is really good. We also get 5 extra combat wisdom with Slayers. Also, with Smoldering Polarization, gain plus 15 magic find on your Slayer weapon. So yeah, this is pretty good. Now, the only thing is that it's about 220 mil per insta-buy, and of course you put that on all 4 pieces of armor. Now, to be honest, to put it bluntly, on Skyblock, I'm kind of broke. The thing that I've been grinding towards for the past couple of days, and I probably will be grinding towards for the next couple of weeks maybe, doesn't really make any money at all. Yeah, I still keep spending on things that I probably don't really need, so I'm just constantly losing money. Also, my storages look like this, so there's stuff everywhere that I can kind of sell and have been selling in order to raise the funds for this video. If I lived like this in real life, my credit score would be pretty bad. Anyway, we have a set of Infernal Crimson armor, and, well, we're about to put Habanero Tactics on it and see what the difference really is. But first, we need to test it before we put Habanero Tactics on to see what the difference really is. Of course, the main things we're going to be looking at is how much more damage we deal when we have Habanero Tactics, and also how much more magic find we actually gain. Now, in theory, 15 per piece would be 60, and that is a big chunk of magic find. Right, so we're going to test against Revs, and we're also going to test against E-Man. I got a suggestion a couple of days ago to put it on Mastiff armor and use the Pooch Sword and test it against Wolves, which would be pretty interesting. However, I definitely do not have the funds to be putting Habanero Tactics 5 on Mastiff armor, because, well, I feel like that's kind of self-explanatory. At least if I put it on my Crimson, I'm going to actually see some use when I come to do E-Man Slayer 9 and also Blaze Slayer 9. Okay, so our damage towards Enderman with our katana is, what's that, just shy of 4 million, I think, by the looks of it. Let's try and see that again, 3.7, 3.9. We have got Fabled on this katana, so that would probably do it. Just below 4 million damage. It's somewhere between 3.7 and 4 million, looks like our kind of average hits, which is, okay, 4.2. Right, we're also going to head over to the hub and see how much damage we do to Crypticals. Alright, so our damage looks to be just shy or maybe just about 2 million if we're not actually at full 10 stacks. Let's get full 10 stacks. Okay, just shy of 2.1 million damage. We're using a 1 for Arcs of the Shredded, so the damage is going to be pretty consistent. And now it's time to spend a lot of money. But just before we do, at the moment, we're actually trying to beat the population of Andorra with subscribers. The population of Andorra is around about 80,000 people. Meaning that once we reach 80,000 subscribers, we're actually going to be visiting Andorra and we'll be able to claim that we have more subscribers than the population of the whole country, which would be pretty cool, so make sure to subscribe to make that happen. Also, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure to use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. You should join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer Slayers and Dungeon Carries, so if you need carries or want to carry, make some coins, make sure to join. Alright, well, yeah, it's time. Aye, here we go. This is a little bit painful, not gonna lie. I'll have XP. And the last one. Right, we now have Habanero Tactics 5 on all of our pieces of Crimson. I mean, in a way it's nice because I've always thought, I mean, for things like Crimson, obviously you had Legion, but it was always, to me, a little bit naff. But now that we have a really good enchantment to go ahead and put on our Crimson armor and our damaging armor, especially for Slayers, that's nice. Anyway, I've not tested it, so I could be just... this could just be lies. Now, of course, we need the Smoldering Polarization effect, so we're going to go ahead and buy one. So there we go. So our damage has increased with full 10 stacks. We're now dealing just shy of 2.3 million damage, as opposed to just shy of 2.1 million damage, which means that we've gained around about 200k damage on a damage value that is around about 2 million. So we've gained around about 10% damage, which is interesting. Now obviously we are using Crimson, so you have to consider our swipe value as well, which is going to be obviously pretty hefty. I'd say the thing is, for something like Revs, you're dealing that much damage anyway, and the bosses are that easy, that in terms of actually killing a boss, you're not really going to see any sort of noticeable difference in terms of the time to kill. But that will obviously be different when we come on to, well, a different Slayer. which we will do. Oh, I've killed like 4 bosses and I haven't dropped anything. I just want to drop something to see what our magic find value actually is. That'd be nice. 239. I should have really checked to see before we popped that polarized gummy bear to see what our magic find actually was on a boss. But it does make sense. Our regular flat magic find is 178.81, which is going to be 179, plus 60 is 239, the magic find that we just achieved. So I'm not going to lie, the damage in terms of revs is a little bit underwhelming. However, when you do more damage, that's going to scale. You know, you're going to deal even more damage. The magic find is nice though, definitely. Now, our damage with 10 stacks against E-Man with our katana is 4.5. What else do we do? 4.3, 4.3, 4.5 again. Can we get any higher? 4.1. It's just consistently higher, which you would obviously expect. Now, our damage before was as low as like 3.7 or 3.8, whereas our lowest figure here is like 4.1, 4.2, which is what you would expect, considering with revs it was a 10% change, and this looks to be around about the same. And yeah, the same again here. The magic find we got against the boss was 239, which is consistent with add 60 magic find to a slay weapon. So cool. Now, obviously, I mean, that was a terrible boss. Now, the way I see it is the damage increase is nice. It's 10%. You know, it's never what it says on the tin because of the way it's calculated. Some people look at it and think, oh, it's 25% extra damage per piece, which is 100%. It's double damage. I mean, obviously, that's not how it works. So to get an extra 10% damage is not too bad. Whether it's worth the, 900 million coins that I've paid, I'm not too sure. I mean, there's probably more expensive ways to gain damage than that. But I think what's very interesting is the fact that you can gain a straight up 60 magic find for, 900 million coins, which is actually quite good, even though it sounds a lot. But as an answer to the question is it worth 225 mil a piece, you know? Is it worth 900 million coins? I think with most things, when you're trying to determine if it's worth buying, it depends where you're up to. You know, 900 million coins is, for me, quite a lot of money. For other people, it's nothing. For some other people, it's more than they have as well. It's greater than their net worth. Now, for me, as someone who isn't really grinding Slayers at the moment, I don't really think it's worth it. You know, 900 mil is quite a lot for me at the moment. Money's a bit tight on Skyblock. But maybe for someone who's grinding Slayers constantly, day in, day out, number one, you're going to deal more damage, so it's going to make your bosses quicker. And number two, 60 magic find is crazy good. Then you could probably argue that it is worth it. Also, if you're early in game, obviously there's not really much point in thinking about it, considering 900 million coins worth of enchantments on your armor just doesn't make sense. You'd be way better off just investing that in magical power or something else. To put things into perspective, magic find isn't that cheap. It's quite expensive to gain a lot of magic find. Something like Chimera 5 is going to set you back 2 billion, 2.1 billion coins at the moment. Copying your active pet stats, which you'd usually have a G-drag, because obviously that's going to give you a decent amount of magic find. It's much better value for money actually just to get Habanero tactics. I mean, that's if you're doing Slayers. If you're not, then you know it's kind of useless. Something like a Clover helmet gives you plus 5% magic find. It's going to set you back 16 billion coins though. Now, of course, you'd exhaust every other avenue of gaining magic find before you go for a Clover helmet. But yeah, in perspective, in the grand scheme of things, Habanero tactics for magic find is pretty good with Slayers. I can't lie. You know, if you're looking at a high magic find setup anyway. Then again, the best part of a billion coins is pretty steep for majority of people, just for an enchantment that you put on pieces of armor. However, it'll be interesting to see what you guys think in the comments. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.